welcome, Sharon. It's a great pleasure to have you with me today and to do this new series of videos in which I allow the guests to take over and explain, or not explain, but show to us through what we're doing together something useful in the process of managing own state or own experience. But before going there, could you introduce yourself, please?
Yeah, thanks, Davide. It's good to see you again and chat with you. So my name is Sharon Olivier, and I'm South African. I've been living in the United Kingdom for the last 5 years now, and I work as a full-time professor, a member of faculty at the Ashridge Hult Business School in the UK, here in Hertfordshire, where I do leadership development programs, more focused on personal side of leadership development, the inner world of leaders. My big belief in life is that if you cannot manage your inner world, you can't manage how you lead in the outer world. It's so important for leaders to become more self-aware, more in tune with what they bring to the world, what holds them back, what trips them up, will make them effective leaders. So I do a lot of work in designing and creating experiences, leadership, executive leadership programs. People come to Ashridge for an immersive experience of 4 days, 5 days, 6 days, which we call transformational leadership. Beautiful. And then we help them to apply these things back at the workplace. So that's what I'm busy with at the moment, reading, researching, writing, teaching in that space.
That's great, and I believe, you know, not only these days, not only for leaders, but each one of us needs to look inside and manage what happens inside, because to face what's outside, sometimes we feel like helpless, mainly for the unknown or the uncertainty that we're facing at this stage. So I'm gonna let you do what you do, at least with me, just to show something people can do, whatever they are, and I'm going to follow your instructions, and so in doing that, we're going to demonstrate something, at least a little thing that we can give to people just to get in touch with themselves, as you say, you know, in the process, and be able to lead their life, you know, through the uncertainty. All right?
Yeah, just as an introduction to this experience, I would encourage people to try this as I facilitate you through it. Maybe whoever's watching this video can do it in the moment while they're watching. You know, they could put off the video or just close their eyes and just go through this experience as you are going to experience it. And the essence of it is that we're going to practice something called meta-awareness. Meta means that you are able to take distance from yourself and see yourself and experience yourself and notice yourself through almost getting rid of this chatter brain, you know, all the constant thoughts just going up. In the cognitive mind, we're thinking and talking to ourselves all the time. It's a constant chatter. We call it the monkey brain. And if we're able to just, through a certain way of breathing and calming ourselves, getting what we call an inner calm or an inner coherence, we know that when we reach this state, our heart rate, for example, goes into a more even signature. And as our heart goes into a more even signature, so does the brain waves. There's a lot of work done by the Heart Math Institute, and I'm part of that, where we link ourselves up to a little heart rate machine, and we can see how an inner coherence helps the brain to become more coherent, which means that you are able to take perspective, take distance, and almost see yourself and notice what you're thinking, notice what you're feeling, notice what the body's telling you in the moment. And it's almost like a moment of respite during your busy day, to have regular little intervals, maybe twice a day, or if you can, 3 times a day, just for 5 minutes, just to stop for a moment and pause. And in that pause, just to notice actually what's going on and what is the wisdom that comes from the body. And what is that telling you in the moment? What is it that you're actually feeling, and what do you want to be feeling in the moment? So it's a little process, I think, that will just help people, especially during this time of isolation, when there's so much pain and so much stress going on in the world that people are completely, their minds are so active, some people I know are struggling to sleep at night, or they're waking up at 3 or 4 in the morning with this terrible anxiety. And I just think it's such an important thing to just get into that state of inner calm and just tune into what the body was saying to you in the moment.
That's great. That's great. I look forward to it. Right. Let's dive in.
Okay. So I'd like you to just sit back in your chair and put your feet flat on the ground, back straight, hands on your lap. And just to kind of release any tension, we're going to take 3 big breaths in, and then we're going to make a big, loud, audible sigh, just kind of releasing tension and stress. So something like this. Do it with me. Breathe in and just go. And just as you do that, imagine the stress flowing out of your body, through your fingers, through your toes. Breathe in. On the next one, we're going to pause after we've taken the in-breath, before we do the out-breath. So it's in, deep breath in and pause. And out. Let's do one more. Pause. And out. And now just become aware of breathing in through your nose and out through your nose. We're not trying to control the breath, we're just noticing the breath. Just to start off with, let's take our focus outside of the body and notice every sound. Listen intently to the sounds around you and focus on nothing else except the sounds. The sounds in your body, the sounds outside your body, in the room, even outside. As you breathe, gently bring your focus back into the body now. And we're just going to scan the body now from the top of the head to the bottom of the toes. And we're just going to notice what's happening in different parts of the body. Just become aware. So we're not trying to change it or get rid of anything. But you notice that many times tension or even emotions sit in certain parts of you. And we're going to try and just get a sense of what that is. So starting at the top of the head, just noticing the top of the skull, all your focus now to the top of the skull as you breathe. And as you scan the body to the eyelids, into the ears, just notice where there's discomfort or where there's maybe some trapped tension or trapped emotion. Just scan the body. Shoulders, breathing into it, chest and arms and back. Just become aware of where you're clasping your muscles to the hips, top of legs, knees, shins, calves, ankles. Moving into the feet. Just breathing in through the nose and out through the nose. And as your attention wanders, just bring it back to the breath every time. It's absolutely normal for our thoughts to wander. We don't stop thinking. All we do is we focus our thoughts on one thing, which is the breath. That's the way we manage the mind. That's the way we watch the mind. You're just noticing the mind going here, going there, and you gently, without judgment, bringing it back to the breath. Almost like a loving thing that you do with yourself. Just gently bringing it back. And now I invite you just to think about the thing that you've been through in the last few weeks with this isolation, with what's happening with lockdown. And just notice where in your body you feel that. And what is it that you feel? Notice. What's the overarching feeling or emotion that's linked to this whole experience that you're going through right now? And where does it sit in the body? Just notice that. And what does it feel like? Is it round? Is it square? Is it hot? Is it cold? Is it tight? Is it loose? Where are you grasping? Where are you feeling it? What is it? Just notice. And what would happen to that feeling if you were able to do something with it, shift it slightly, move it to a next level of processing it? What is the wisdom that you get from it? What does it tell you in terms of an attitude to take or a mindset to adopt about this that might help yourself or might help others? And whatever comes to you. There's no forcing. Just sit with it, just watch it. And as you watch it, does it move? Does it morph? Does it change? Or does it stay the same? I invite you now to gently come back to your body. You come back into the awareness of your chair and into this conversation. Gently bring yourself back. Well done.
Well, couple of things just to right out of the what happened for me, in a couple of moments of this situation, that I realized how I tend to be tensed, how I had to let go tension a few times while you were talking, because it was cramping up by itself, and it's funny when you talked about see that thing, what is that thing connected to this situation? I had few words coming to my mind, but even some images, about, kind of interesting about the helplessness of the moment, really, when, it's actually something I moved a lot of stuff that I want to think about. I can't really say everything right now, but there was a lot. If I followed you, when I was following you, there was a lot that was going on in me and a lot to notice. And I think it's beautiful.
Can you just start by telling me what happened in your body and where it was in the body?
Now, it was in the stomach, and basically I had some cold metal, cold metal thing, like a plate of metal, very cold. And when you metal, like iron or something like that, but when
okay, so cold metal in the stomach.
Right. And then when
was that metal a piece or a ball, or what was it?
It was like a frisbee, like a frisbee, a full frisbee of metal, and when you said about When you said about is morphing, is changing, the emotions are look at the emotion morphing around it. I could see becoming dust from the sides. It's like when something becomes dust from the sides.
Wow.
It's really interesting because it was warming up, and I the whole lower back. When you talk about where this is, it's like the stomach and the whole lower back, because probably I've been seated along. I've been doing a lot of conversations on the phone, and so I'm compressed in that area, and my shoulders and arms tended to get tensed while you were talking, and I had to let go very often, because it was like automatic to be tensed. So tension, helplessness, and cold iron, and then when it morphed, it was morphing into a more warm and dust type of thing from the outside, was starting to dust out, in some ways. So
What emotion? What emotion was going with the warming up and the dust? What happened then emotionally for you?
it seemed more like there was what the iron was. There was helplessness, and then when the warmth was coming down, was kind of when you feel like you come out of the cold and you start to be in the house. I don't know if you ever rode a bike, like a motorbike on the freezing time. Your hands are kind of like this, you kind of squeeze them out of the bike, and you go in the house, and then you see how they slowly get to move again. You get to the blood flowing, and that was kind of the thing. The blood started to flow a little more, and there was not much consideration about it. But what I'm thinking is more like the ability to do something about it. It's kind of going back into me. From helplessness to the ability to do something about it. So that's a very powerful. At least for me, that's what went on.
And the doing something about it, is that for yourself or for others, or what is coming to mind with the doing something?
Well, it's the helplessness, because I got to start from there to let you understand this other side. The helplessness is like being close in the house, seeing things going down, and feel frustrated by the fact I cannot do anything about it beside taking care of myself and my family, which is a lot, but it's just inside a cluster, and the losing down has more to do with the feeling that I can do something about it. I was even thinking that this video, I'm going to give this video to people that are tense, for instance, that they can give up. And I know if they follow what I've done, they will find something there. They will concentrate. They will find a way to concentrate on something that is something else than their own concern. And that's already a huge possibility for people, because we're all concern is coming and going at these days, and if you can get a break from that by concentrating on your breath, on your body, that already is like a huge and to me it lifts up a little bit the burden of the moment. And so in some ways what we've done also is something I want to share, because I believe this is something that can help somebody. I mean, not change their entire context, they're not going to have money after doing this, if they don't have money, but at least they can be with themselves in the process of going through the concern and the despair of what's going to happen.
It's interesting that we right now, you're doing exactly that, aren't you? You're doing something for the world right now.
Right.
In this moment, you're offering the world something.
Yeah, I don't know how many people will see. I don't know. I do it for the other, but I do it for myself. Let me explain this. I do it because I have to do something. I don't know how many people is going to see it. It might be 2, 10, 100, or 1,000. I don't see. It's not the number or the other side. It's more that I am launching out something that might be helpful. That already is the dust that comes out of the metal circle inside my stomach, and that is really what I need. I mean, yes, I'm doing it for the other, but actually I'm doing it for myself, because if I don't do these things, I tend to dry out and to fold in myself, and that is not what I want. Even if the world is collapsing, I will live until I die. That's my commitment. And I will give life until I die. So, I don't want to die before dying. That's it. Anyway.
Yeah, I would encourage you to hold that image and remember that image of the metal.
Yes.
I think that's quite powerful, because metal is cold and it's hard, and it's almost like, how can you start to warm the edges, and bring that warmth and that melting, and bringing flexibility and morphing that for yourself, which is self-nurturing. We cannot actually look after anybody else if we're not in a state to do that. So it always starts with self. That's probably what led Gandhi to say, be the change that you want to see in the world. Yes. How can I demonstrate what I want to do for others If you're completely stuck in that metal and
Yeah.
you become inflexible, it's going to be very hard for you to even show compassion to others. Yeah?
Yes, yes, yes. Well, on this note, because we gave a lot to people, I really thank you for now. And, you know, I hope I can get you back on some exercises because I want to do some more of this. But thank you very much, Sharon, for your contribution.
It's a great pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity.